Good afternoon and welcome to the Humidor Report. Justin here with the next edition of the Humidor Report coming to you from Beaumont's very own cigar club. Now what we're talking about today is something that has been around for a couple of years, even something we've had here for a little bit, but definitely something we haven't talked about on the Humidor Report and something we're going to do a little something different with than what's been here before. Now I got all this table space, but all we're really talking about are these little things hanging out right here in front of me. If you are not familiar with the Lost and Found series. This was created, I think, back in 2014. It's a collaboration that occurred between Robert Caldwell of Caldwell Cigars, Tony Bellato of, I believe, La Barba, and someone by the name of Jaclyn Sears. Those were the three people who got behind this whole idea of Lost and Found. And it came from a trip that Robert Caldwell took to the Dominican Republic. Caldwell picked up some cigars while he was there. It was a small, limited batch of something that he picked up at one of the manufacturers there in the DR. Brought it back, shared it with the other two, and it started a conversation. And it got them focusing on cigars that were being created that nothing was being done with. These were limited batches or short runs or test runs that manufacturers would make, they would have in their aging rooms, and there they would sit. So when they kicked off Lost and Found, it began a quest for primarily, I guess, Caldwell to go out then and find all of these small batches that were sitting in people's aging rooms doing nothing. So they started that in, I believe, 2014. The two that we have here, what you see, we have Malditos, Bastardos, and we have pepper cream soda. Now, some of the other stuff you may have heard from these series, if you've heard people talk about the Cookie Monsters or No Free Lunch or Scooby Snacks or any of that, those are a number of the different releases that were in the Lost and Found series. But one thing that is true about all the Lost and Founds is they are limited. There are sometimes less than 100 bundles can be made from these small allotments of cigars that you can find in the Lost and Found series. But another thing about the Lost and Founds is it's stuff that's been sitting there for a while. So it's stuff that actually already has a good deal of age on it before it ever gets dressed up and put into production. So the two that we have here, we have Malditos Bastardos. That one actually, there's been a couple of different incarnations of that. This is the Ecuadorian Habano wrapped version of it. There was a Cameroon edition made. I believe that came out, I want to say 2018 or 2019. That the Cameroon wrapped version was part of an initiative of Lost and Found called the GAF initiative. And I'm not going to go into the definition of what GAF means, but you might be able to figure it out because it's a charitable initiative to help, I believe, feed people. I think there were two different programs, one in Los Angeles and one in Chicago, that the GAF initiative was meant to fund. So that's given a care about all those people in need in various cities. But that was the Cameroon edition, I believe. This one here, like I said, we have an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper on the Malditos. It's got a Indonesian Sumatra binder, and the filler is Corojo and Criollo 98, I believe, from the Dominican Republic. I also believe that these were made in the DR as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Most of the time, they will not disclose who they get what from. So as far as factories that produce the Lost and Founds, those all tend to remain a mystery. The one over here to my right is the pepper cream soda. This is not the first edition of the pepper cream soda. This is at least the second or maybe the third iteration. The initial versions of it had a green can of soda with the little pepper shaker pouring pepper into it. This one you'll see that you have some green, red, and white. If that looks like a particular neighboring nation's flag, it is for a good reason, because the original version of pepper cream soda had a Habano wrapper. This one in the white packaging is the Mexican San Andreas, hence the Mexican flag looking soda can that's on the packaging. So San Andreas wrapper, again a Sumatra binder, similar to the Malditos, and then the filler, aged Corojo from the Dominican Republic. There's some Criollo 98 and some Olor tobacco, also from the Dominican Republic. Now, all the Lost and Founds are released in these little 10-count bundles, so the only way that you're normally able to get them is to buy 10 of them at a time. Tough for a lot of people, not knowing if you're going to like the cigar or not. So once we got these in, I've actually left these as the bundles. We've sold these as the bundles for quite a while, but starting today, this afternoon, as of when you watch this video, when the video hits, these things are actually going live here in the store that we're going to sell by the individual stick. So as a first look at these, This is the Malditos Bastardos. I think that is the same band that was on the Cameroon version. Don't know how much you'll be able to see that, but that is what the Malditos Bastardos looks like. And then the pepper cream soda. It's going to be this guy here. And that's a very Caldwell-looking band if I've ever seen one. Now, if you're not familiar with Caldwell, you've got lines like Long Live the King is Dead, The Last Czar, there was The Blind Man's Bluff, there's Eastern Standard, Midnight Express. But yeah, that band very much looks very, very Caldwell to me. Even though I believe it is Tony Bellato that is doing all the art and design for the bands and the packaging on all the lost and found stuff. So previously unavailable as individual sticks starting this afternoon as of the airing of the video. These are going live for sale individually here. But as you see, we have 4 bundles. 2 bundles of the Toro Malditos. We have 1 bundle of Toros of the Pepper Cream Soda and 1 bundle of the Robustos. And that's it. But we are going to sell these individually. So you guys who might be scared to jump off and buy 10 of something that you've never had before, at least get a chance to try it, or maybe put some back into your humidor so you can have some of these treasures to show off at some point down the line. Hopefully we'll be getting some more of this stuff in days to come. Haven't had a great deal of demand for Caldwell over at this store, but if it is something that you guys are interested in, something that you like, if you tried some other Caldwell stuff that you're digging on, let us know. If we get some feedback on that, it might be something we can bring back in and try again at a different point. But it is something that I'd like to see at least a little bit more of this rare kind of stuff making its way here in the days, months, and years to come. Now, also, since we're talking about what's happening right now, technically happening tomorrow as of the posting of this video, tomorrow night is our big Drew Estate event at our Lake Charles store. So if you're watching us from the other side of the Sabine, or if you're here in Beaumont and you can make the trek over tomorrow evening, that's Thursday the 9th, not only are we having a Drew Estate event with our rep, Jenny Lynn Hunter over there, but we have Pedro Gomez. Pedro is the factory rep for Fabrica Drew Estate down there in Nicaragua. He is one of the big brand ambassadors, and Pedro's always bringing a big, high energy attitude and usually some really, really, really cool stuff for the events that he hosts. Some of the things that we know that Pedro is going to have with him. For the Undercrown line from Drew Estates, he has his own private size that you can only get at Pedro hosted events. That is the Undercrown Tuwani is the name of that one. Translates to all good, but that is the Pedro event exclusive size. Tomorrow we'll also have the 2-month early release of Nica Rustica Adobe. We talked about that here on the Humidor Report a few episodes ago. That was the new cigar that they announced at the Freestyle Live event. Not shipping out to retailers until August, but because we are doing one of these the Nica Rustica Adobe release events in Lake Charles, we will actually have the Nica Rustica Adobe at the Lake Charles store for sale starting tomorrow, and that's 2 months before the full release of the product. So if you're curious about Adobe, make your way over to Lake Charles and check it out a couple of months before everybody else. Also, Pedro's going to have with him some Liga Privada H99 Phineas Gauge. That is the new tubed Lancero version of the Liga H99. Super hard to get. Phineas Gauge hasn't even hardly seen the light of day yet, so this will be one of the earliest events that's being done, period, for Drew Estate, featuring both that and the new Adobe. So absolutely worth the trip to Lake Charles if you're here in Beaumont, or if you are watching us from over there, put it on your calendar. Make sure you're there. That's going to be tomorrow night with Pedro Gomez and Jimmy Lynn Hunter from Drew Estates at the Lake Charles store, so do be there for that. And that's going to wrap us up for this week's edition of the Humidor Report. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share with your friends so everybody else can see what's hip and happening here at Cigar Club in Southeast Texas. And until next week, I'm Justin. We'll see you at the club.